with Make It Happen, are you open to saying what sort of sales you're doing? Or
So last year was my first year in it. I did. She sold 400 units for $120 each, which is $50,000 in 2 months. I have another lady, she emailed me the week that she launched. She said, I did $14,000 launch week. She's 4 months in now, she's done $100,000.
So in 1 year of business, you're doing 3.5 mil of sales. What's that like to do that quickly? She paid Kylie Jenner $300,000 and made $3.5 million, all in her 20s. The infamous Iyia Liu. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Did I get that right?
Yeah, Iyia.
No, I meant the 300 grand.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yes, also Iyia. My name's really hard. 300 grand, yeah, Kylie Jenner. Yes, that was a long time ago.
How long ago was that?
I would have been 22 and I'm 31 now, so almost 9 years ago.
Far out. How does one come to send $300,000 to Kylie Jenner? Let's start at the start and then we'll get to that piece and then we'll see what else you're up to. So you want to take us on the journey, I guess, to start with? Yeah,
well, it's kind of I'd say like a funny story because I did a business degree at uni and I was like, okay, I'm going to come out of here and I don't know what I'm going to do, maybe like a marketing job or something. Came out of uni, I could not get a job. Like literally no one would hire me, 50, 60K jobs. I was like, why does nobody want me to work for you? Please, someone hire me. And then I eventually thought, if I just set up my own website, set up a website, maybe sell some products on it, on the sort of just on the side. I had 3 part-time jobs at the time. I was like, that'd be really helpful for my bills. Set up this website. I imported probably 20 products, put them on the website. I was like, if I can sell 10 products a week, make $30 profit per product, $300 a week, I'd be very happy with that. So my goal is to make $300 within, I'd say, 3 or 4 months. It just really escalated. So it's kind of like flat, and then it just really, really ramped up.
Yeah. Wow. So where does the idea come to do that? Because like a lot of people, they still can't bring themselves to sell anything online and they kind of wouldn't know where to start. How were you being exposed to that being a way to make some money?
Well, I feel like I did it all by accident, but I did read this article. So when I was at uni, I think it was my second year of uni, I read this article and it was 20-something-year-old girl buys and sells clothing on eBay, turns her business into a $100 million business. And she's in her 20s. So I've read this article and I'm thinking, hold on, she's buying and selling stuff on eBay. I'm buying and selling stuff on TradeMe. Like I was buying bulk lots of clothing on TradeMe, taking a photo in it, making it really stylish, relisting it back onto TradeMe, selling it individually. I was like, if she can do this, why can't I? And that's it. I just read this article.
Wow. It's so powerful how seeing what somebody else is doing, but then having the belief that, well, maybe you could do it too, versus people, which I think a lot of people default to, well, I could never do that. Or even, I like your math of basically if I could make $300 a week, like just start there. Whereas I think a lot of people would see the article around someone making 100 million or 10 or whatever and just go, oh, that number's way too big. That's not for me. And I think, if we jump to what you're doing today, from what I've picked up, it's basically part of your teaching is, okay, I can teach you some skills so that you can build towards whatever level it is that you want. Not, you don't have to go right to the 100 mil, but these are the skills that will get you started.
Yeah, well, if I think back to myself, the reason I felt like I could do it was because I was like, that girl's in her 20s and she started off in a bedroom in a similar situation to me. So I think the only way to get people on board is to make them feel like, okay, I can actually relate to you.
Yeah. And see people that are similar to us. Yeah. Okay, so you start buying and selling some things and you probably start making a bit of coin and go, right, okay, I can do this. When does it how long does it take before it gets a bit boring, or you're like, okay, I don't want 300, how far can I push this?
Well, I guess the whole time I was going, okay, our ads are doing pretty well, all our marketing strategies going pretty well, just keep pushing it up. Went from like 10, 20 orders maybe a week to 10, 20 orders a day to 100, 200 orders a day, 200 plus orders a day. Did end up doing over $3.5 million in the first year.
Wow, of sales.
Sales, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yes.
What were you selling?
Just shapewear at the time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the infamous shapewear, right?
Yeah, the infamous shapewear.
Yeah.
But after about a year and a half, I was like, hold on, you figured out this business model. Well, sort of like ecosystem of what marketing the things to do, all the programs to use. I could do this for other products.
Yeah.
So that's when I started thinking of other businesses, ended up doing a supplement business called Lux Fitness. Then also used the same strategies for gift box business, celebration box, and then also a hair care business, Tidal Hair.
Wow. Yeah. So you just take the lessons from each of them. Okay. So that first year where you do 3.5 mil of sales, are you like, how hard are you going in terms of, you must have had some marketing understanding from study and whatnot, and then are you just practicing some of the things that you've learned, or you're just still just throwing shit at the wall, or?
Well, it's funny because I did do this 3-year marketing degree, but I feel like they'd only teach you theory. There was the stuff that I was actually doing, which was influencer marketing, building up things like reviews and social proof and paid advertising. They did not teach you that at uni.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the course material is kind of outdated. You go into the real world and it's basically like, okay, I can't rely on that. I'm going to try these things, and it starts working. Yeah.
It does, yeah.
Is this sort of that time where, Facebook ads were unbelievable, where you could run an ad and like I can picture the things that you have sold, and I'm probably not even target market, but I was seeing them, and now obviously being able to tie it back, like, oh, okay, you were behind all of this, but were you doing anything sort of special to get so much attention, or is it have the algorithms and the platforms changed a little bit, or all the principles relatively the same?
Over time, definitely, all the platforms have changed, but that's not to say they're less effective. You just have to go, okay, how does it work now? So if you're going to talk about how to run the best paid ads now, it's really about the actual content itself.
Yeah.
For example, if I was going to sell a product, I would make sure that the ad is short, let's say 15 seconds, and the start would be a hook. So immediately you've got to grab the person's attention, like TikTok or Instagram's the same thing, any short form video. Then it's showing a transformation. So whatever the product, somehow show a transformation or the product in use, and then end with a call to action.
Yeah.
Purchase here. And maybe also integrate some social proof, like pictures of customers. So if I was to structure an ad, top performing ad, that's how it would look.
It's interesting you say that, because I was talking to a business owner recently, and they had these kind of protective sunglasses, and as soon as they go into light, they like change color, and that's all the ad is basically like him walking them into the light, and then the lenses go dark, and they run that as the ad, and it's just sold like crazy. And it's exactly basically the principles that you're teaching there, right?
I guess people are obsessed with transformations. They just want to see a result. It's like satisfying.
Yeah.
The most viral videos are like people cleaning their homes or like people mowing their lawns. I've actually watched a lot of lawn videos.
Yeah.
Like, why am I watching this? But it's so fun.
Yeah, interesting. The person who was on the podcast yesterday said the exact same thing around mowing lawns. Okay, so what's it like in 1 year of business, you're doing 3.5 mil of sales. You've obviously then got to start building processes. You've got to understand if you can get enough inventory and get ads running and looking at financials and stuff, I'd guess. What's that like to do that quickly?
You just have to do it. Because if you don't do it, it's going to fall apart, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like you learn new things every day, and then you sort of just get used to them. Like 10 years later, do I like doing reconciliation, accounting? Like, no, I don't like it, but I have to do it. It's just like a part of it.
Yeah.
And did I ever study that? No, but you just get used to it.
So you just you just learn the things as you go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But in that first year as well, when you start making that much money, do you have kind of thoughts around, okay, like how much money do I need, or like how big could this be? Or I suppose you've probably got thoughts anchored back to that article that you've seen where someone's making 100 million, right?
Yeah, and I feel like now there's a lot of these e-com brands that they're just huge now. Like they started probably when I started, and they've really taken over the world. But for me, I guess I had no like end goal. For me, my only goal was actually like, why am I doing this? It was only to make $300 a week, help me pay my bills.
Yeah.
But now, I actually just wanted it to sort of like build my dream, build a home, and be able to have like enough money to not be stressed.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. So the Kylie Jenner 300 grand, what stage does that happen at?
That's about 1.5 years in.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does one have the confidence that 300 grand is going to come back?
I guess I had nothing to lose. When you're like 22, I don't have anything. I don't have kids, don't have a house. If she posts this and she's one of the top influencers, celebrities in the world at the time, and it does well, that's great. I'm just pretty confident. I've done a lot of influencer marketing to date. I know influencer marketing works, but I'm sure I'll get something out of it. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get something out of this.
Yeah. So you've made 300 grand at this stage in cash. So it's not like you're taking out debt to be able to pay the 300 grand. You've built up profits from all the sales, and you go, right now I'm going to roll this into paying her to effectively promote the product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And how much comes back?
I'm pretty sure we made it back in about a month.
Yeah.
Yes. But also there's a lot of like non-monetary benefits from that. Like she got me in global news articles, which I'm like, how can you put a price on that?
Yeah. Wow, that's phenomenal. Is that story pretty like blasé to you now, or is it still, because most people wouldn't spend 300 grand in their life. You're how old at this stage? 22, and you're like, right, I'm going to send her 300 grand, and then you make it back in a month.
Yeah, sometimes I do think back and I'm like, you were quite crazy. A lot of things you've done are quite crazy. But I think any entrepreneur or someone that has a business has to have that sort of level of risk to be able to grow. To be like, I think a calculated risks. To be like, I think if I do this, it should give me this result.
And did you have people in your family that were taking similar risks that, you have learnt this through watching them as well, or are they, a lot different to what you now do?
Growing up, my parents both were quite entrepreneurial, but my dad, he moved overseas when I was 18, and then I took over as the guardian for my sister. She was 15. It was just like us two in a house with some flatmates. So I felt like we were kind of like left on our own. And I'm like, is that the reason why I'm like, I needed to do this?
Yeah, because I suppose so you're then forced to think about part-time jobs and having money coming in and whatnot because you've got such a big responsibility at such a young age.
I must have, yeah. I must have.
Yeah. It's funny how it's like hard to work these things out looking back at it. Even yesterday I was reflecting on, people were talking about mindset and stuff. And then I was thinking, oh yeah, should I have been listening to like good quality mind information for probably 2 decades now? But you forget that, you listened to this stuff so long ago and maybe like that's really where my journey started. So then you flippantly say to someone like, oh, you need to be, like feeding your mind with better information. They're like, what are you talking about? But when you've been doing it for so long, you think like, surely everybody does this. But instead people are feeding themselves shit that isn't actually going to help them in their life.
Totally. I feel like it depends what type of person you are as well. What sort of like aspirations. I don't know. It's like the debate between like, is it the environment or what's the other option?
Yeah, nature or nurture.
Nature
right?
or nurture.
Yeah, I know. And the more you try and understand those things, I think it just becomes even more complicated. Or there's such good arguments for both sides and whatnot. So you're sort of like, okay, well, I'm just going to do my thing. And if other people can, learn from that, then great. So the waist trainer, how long does that journey go for? Do you carry on with that, or does it sort of blow up and then sort of simmer out?
So I was growing that one I feel like I had that one for 2 years, but about a year into that's when I was like, I want to do another product.
Yeah.
So that's when I started getting the protein powder formulated. Actually, no, I think I launched it in about 1 year after I'd done the shapewear. And then my mum used to be a business broker. So she, one day out of the blue, she was like, oh, yeah, did you know that you can go get a free valuation just to see how much your business is worth? And I was like, no, I didn't know that. And it was a free valuation. Why not? So I went and got a valuation, no intention of selling. I didn't actually know that was an option. And then someone actually gave me a really good offer. Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, actually, why am I doing this? I didn't start a business to be a business owner. I started it to make $300 a week.
Yeah.
And I would like to trade it up for a house.
Nice. So you sold the business?
Yeah, both of them.
Oh, so this is both of them at this stage? Wow.
To the same person. Same
so they buy both?
Yeah, they buy both.
Wow. And you cash out pretty good from that, and it's tax-free as well, capital gain?
It is tax-free, which is great.
Yeah. Is it a life-changing amount of money?
Enough to do my dream home, basically.
Yeah.
And then I'm like 23, so I'm like, oh, I can do this again.
Incredible. Yeah. Okay. So then you start building the home?
Buy the section, got to do the plans, concept, and takes ages.
Yeah.
It takes a really long time.
So you go on that journey, let me guess, you get bored and you're like, right, I'm going to do another, I've got another business in me. Too many of us signed up to a KiwiSaver plan without much thought. And signing up is great, but if you've never got advice before, you could be missing out. Your KiwiSaver account could become one of your biggest assets over your lifetime. That's why getting expert advice early and ensuring you're in the right fund is so worthwhile. Generate have a team of KiwiSaver advisors available to help. Head to generatekiwisaver.co.nz/change to book a no obligation meeting. They can even come to you. A copy of the product disclosure statement is available at generatekiwisaver.co.nz. The issuer of the scheme is Generate Investment Management Limited, and of course, past performance does not guarantee future returns.
Yeah, well, I'm just 23 at this stage. I'm like, yeah, I should probably do something else.
Yeah.
And I know how to start them with a really low amount of money.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, okay, it doesn't matter how much I have to start with. I know how to grow this really quickly. So yeah.
And so what business is it that you start next?
Celebration Box.
Okay. And how big does Celebration Box get?
I only had it for a year and a half, and I know that they do $1 million months now because I know some of the team. I know.
Shit.
I know, which I'm like, oh, I sold that one quite early. Yeah, so I started that one with $3,000. That's all we needed.
$3,000?
Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So you said something really important there. You know how to start businesses cheap or with no money, basically. What do you mean by that?
We have... So, like in the past 10 years, there's been so many tools that have come out that are borderline free. So if you want to set it, let's say 20 years ago, if you wanted to do a website, it'd be 10 grand plus. Now you can do a Shopify website, $29 a month. Like even the Kardashians are running their websites on Shopify.
Wow.
It's really cheap.
Yeah.
You want to buy some product, you can do it online. You can order 20 units if you want. So that's still, it's not a crazy amount of money. And then if you want to promote it, create a social media account for free.
And then punch content out.
Or send a few products out to influencers. It really costs very little these days.
Mm.
And like now you've got Canva for graphic design free, AI free. It's all
there.
Basically free.
Make it sound too simple. How does one do the work though? Because that's never free, you know? And I think as more stuff is free, people like you and I look at it and go, why aren't more people doing this? But what do you think that is? Why aren't more people doing this when everything is so accessible and so much easier than it has been in the past?
Well, I do a lot of one-on-ones with people and I do a lot of meetings with people, and it seems like the biggest barrier for people is they're scared of failing, and maybe they feel a bit overwhelmed with, the steps to take. And another one seems to just be like they don't have an idea and they're just a bit lost and confused at the start. So I guess I always say to people, just do one task at a time. If you just spend like an hour every day for 30 days or something like that, and just tick off one task. Like today I'm going to play around on a website. Tomorrow I'm going to look on Alibaba for a product. Next I'm going to go on Canva and create a logo. You just do like one task every day. In 30 days, or even less, you'll have a business.
Yeah. It's crazy when you think about it like that, right? So I guess the scared of failure bit, that's probably a lot of that is psychology. And even if they are so worried about that, then even if they find a successful product, there's probably a high chance that they will butcher it because they just believe that they can't be successful anyway, right? But then if they use somebody like you to help them, or even like you in your early journey, you've seen this young woman who's doing millions of dollars and you're like, oh, okay, well, if they can do it, then clearly this works. But I think a lot of people can't get past that psychology piece of, right, I'm going to have to, I may fail, but there's actually nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. But accepting that, like, why is that important? Like, it doesn't really matter. It's crazy that holds so many people back.
I know. I think it's crazy too, because I'm like, give it a go at least. And I do find that when I talk to people and a lot of people go, oh, I don't have much money. I'm like, have you actually looked into how much it costs? And they go, no. They just have this assumption it's going to cost a lot of money. Yeah. And then I go, okay, well, find the product, figure out how many units, what's the minimum order quantity, what's the unit price, and then actually work out how much it's going to cost.
Yeah.
And then decide if you can do it or not.
Crazy that we're so keen to find reasons why something can't work without, going and looking at numbers or data or anything like that. So then how have you been so successful, or just on the boxes to start with? So that's kind of a bit different to this product, which or have a knack for times two going, okay, I can probably sell this and sell it at volume. what was it about the boxes where you go, right, I can package these things together in a box and then sell it? Was there anything different in there?
For that one, so I got the idea from an Australian company. They were sending these giant penises, donuts, giant penis donuts, out with funny messages to people. And I was like, this is so funny. This is hilarious. Like, I'm not going to do the same thing, but I'm going to do something similar. So I wanted to make the gift boxes wow factor, fun, bright, fun with a funny note. And everybody obviously thought it was hilarious. So when I did influencer marketing for it, week 1, I sent out 100 gift boxes to people on the radio, people on TV, sports stars, and most of them put it on their story on social media. Sold 3,000 gift boxes pretty much straight after that. So I've forgotten what the question is, but basically I'm like, I know this model works. This marketing strategy works.
So you find cool things that people like, and then you're sending it to people of influence, and then they're posting about it, and then people are influenced and they go, right, I'm going to, like, where did this come from? I'm going to buy one.
Yeah, well, if you think about social media, it is the modern day word of mouth. It is traditional word of mouth, but it's immediate. Someone posts something online, their audience sees it straight away.
Yeah.
It's just word of mouth, like on extreme version of word of mouth marketing.
So you scale that up and then you sell that as well?
Yes.
Yeah. And then that just puts more money in the kitty to be able to build the dream home?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm
Nice.
like, why am I obsessed with building this house?
It's a phenomenal house. I will give you that. You must be stoked with it.
Yeah, I am very happy. Yeah. And also I'm like 20. Oh, sorry, no, not 20. I'm 31. And I'm like, actually, I've sort of achieved all my life goals, which I'm very content.
Yeah. Must be a nice feeling.
It is a nice feeling.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll get into maybe what's going to come for you in your life later on. But so we go through the celebration boxes, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then sell that. Great. Bank some cash again. What happens after that? What's next?
So celebration box, I got pregnant. That's why I sort of was like, I want to sell.
Yeah.
But then I got bored again. So then I started a hair care business.
Okay. Yeah. And how big does the hair care business get?
I ran it for 2.5 years, and so I launched it actually during COVID. It was really hard to get that one off the ground because of like all the lockdown stuff. So that one took the longest. That took 6 months.
6 months to get off the ground.
Yeah, because it was just difficult. Like I needed electrical safety paperwork, and then my supplier they were like, our factory is shut down for now. I was like, oh my God, I need the paperwork.
What am I going to do?
What am I going to do? So yeah, that one's tricky. But got it off the ground, and then at about 2.5 years, 3 years point, we'd done 4.6 mil that year.
With that product alone?
Well, I started off with one product. It was like a hair curling wand.
Yeah.
And I introduced like a blow drying hairbrush.
Gotcha.
Girl stuff, girl things.
I haven't got one.
Yeah. And then started doing like hair masks and like other products to do with hair.
Wow. Okay. And are these buyers all in New Zealand, or are they like some of them Australia, around the world, or mostly?
Customers?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. What did I say? Yeah.
Buyers.
Buyers. Yeah. So customers. Yeah.
The customers are mostly New Zealand, but some from globally as well. And then I started also shipping them straight to the US with a US plug and US regulations.
Oh, nice.
And I gave that a go.
Yeah. Direct from China.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So you're ordering it from China, get it to America.
Yeah.
And then bang, you've got your buyer, and you're brokering the sale from little old New Zealand.
Yeah, I know. So you don't even have to be in the same country.
That's pretty mind-blowing for a lot of people, I think, eh? Yeah. Okay, so you blow that one up as well, and all the same principles, like influencers, etc., getting attention, find something people really want, and then sell that one?
I tried to sell that one. It was during all of the interest rate increases.
Oh, gotcha.
And a lot of people were just saying that they could not actually get. I had a couple of offers on it, but they could not get bank loan because the rates had gone up so much.
Yeah, they couldn't get finance, so then you couldn't sell. Okay.
Yes.
And so what happens with that one? Do you just sort of let it carry on, or?
Well, I thought about carrying it on, continuing running it until I could find a buyer. But then, I've sort of achieved a lot of the things I wanted to achieve. So I feel like my primary goal now is it's no longer monetary related. Over the past 10 years, I've my passion is actually business. I love talking to people about it, love making content about it. So I'm like, actually, I just want to do what I'm doing now, make it happen, and educate other people, do public speaking, podcasts, like make TikToks and Reels and YouTube. That is actually what I find really enjoyable. So I've just pretty much just pivoted to this.
Brilliant. Okay, well, let's touch on Make It Happen. So then you go down a path of, right, how can I teach other people how to do this? Is that what Make It Happen is about?
Yeah. So Make It Happen is, I've got a training, online training, but then I also do one-on-one mentorships. I've just introduced group coaching, which I'm trying for the first time, so hopefully that works.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really just about encouraging more people to do something, like anything.
Nice. So not just what you've done, but anything.
Yeah, anything. Because I feel like the purpose or the reasoning I've done everything is because I wanted to live a really fulfilling, meaningful life. That's like the core reasoning. So if I can help other people live a fulfilling, meaningful life by doing something that is fulfilling and meaningful to them, that's very exciting for me.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so say I sign up to, you've got, from what I've seen, multiple educational pieces that I can work through. And I was going to use the word course, which we'll come back to, but basically you've got multiple courses, right, that I can work through. So talk us through some of those.
Mm-hmm. Well, my main one is it's called the Business Masterclass. And basically I have just put in every single thing you need to know about starting, growing, and even selling a business, which I've put in the last segment. So I get a lot of questions like, is it going to help me with finding a product? Is it going to help me with suppliers and manufacturers? It's got everything.
Wow.
Everything.
Yeah. So you've just basically distilled your journey and multiple successful ventures of doing this from nothing to blowing it up to bigger than what most people can do in their lifetime of one business. You're doing it in your 20s times 3, 4 times and then selling it and then distilling all of that into like, here's the steps you need to take.
Well, it's how this actually happened was people kept asking me questions and I was like, I am a broken record. Yeah. I'm repeating myself. So actually, I'm going to put it all down onto something and you can just watch that.
Nice.
That's why I did that.
Yeah. And then have you got a course around like marketing as well and sort of standalone from that side, or is that included within that?
It's just in that one. Okay. But now I also have some other trainings to do with like one is how to gain followers and build a personal brand. Yeah. So it's something I've done, and there's a lot of ways to monetize that these days. You see, like when people build a personal brand and then they sort of funnel their audience to whatever, something monetizing it somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're teaching them, okay, how to build followers and how to grow on social media and whatnot. It's funny because you think about it, you studied at university and then the content wasn't that relevant. You go out and then figure it out in the real world how to do it, in the business world, and then you end up building the content that someone actually needs rather than the university marketing degree.
Yeah, well, I think the unis are actually updating their curriculums to now factor in things like paid advertising, digital advertising, even like schools are doing financial literacy, which is fantastic. It's really good.
Do you think that, there's you'd probably feel a little bit, this is a good way to ask it, you'd feel a little bit ripped off if you studied marketing at uni and then you get out there and realize, okay, a lot of this stuff isn't actually applicable. And then you've got people like yourself who are like, okay, no, I've been there, done it, like this stuff works and I'm currently testing and trying it. You probably want to be doing this, and it's a lot cheaper than getting a university degree.
It is. I feel like it's just something that everyone does.
Yeah.
I actually said to my partner, and he was not happy about this. I was like, oh, when our kids are like 18, I don't actually think I'd encourage them to go to uni. I would encourage them to build a personal brand and then build some sort of business to do with it. I'm like, for me, that seems like the best pathway.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, I don't know about that. That is the pathway. So
the kids are off to uni by the sounds, unless you can win that battle. Yeah, it's funny. I think the uni thing was, is so important, and I know people still defend it massively and whatnot, and I get it. And it's certainly very, very important for, different parts of the economy and with careers, but the world's changed so much, right? With the internet, and like you say before, you can just $30 a month, and you can have an online website where you could sell something. when I was studying business, that wasn't really the case. Or even getting into accounting, there would be a server. You know, the server would be the thing that would stop people being able to start their own accounting practice. Well, you can't afford that, therefore you can't do it, therefore you stay as an employee. Xero come along and they're like, righto, we're going to put accounting in the cloud. Anybody can access this and completely change it. And I think a lot of people have sort of struggled to see how much the world has really changed. But people like yourself have spotted it and gone like, oh, I could do it this way. And you might not know how or all of the information, but you go, as long as I'm willing to figure it out. And I think there's a little bit of a secret there where people look at someone like yourself or somebody that's already doing well and they think, oh, like, I don't have what they have or I don't know what they know. That couldn't be me. But don't realize that part of it is literally just one foot after the other.
Yeah, you're so right. 'Cause I feel like a lot of the people I work with, they are just in such ordinary situations. Like, one thing I hear all the time is, I've just had a child, I can't do it.
Yeah.
There are people with kids that are doing it. I have a lot of students with, I've got one that has her baby on our calls and she's just done $100,000 in sales in 4 months. New Zealand young lady. I'm like, there are people out there doing it. That is an excuse. So it's a mentality thing.
Yeah, it's very easy. I know that would be so triggering for some people. You're a mother yourself, you've been through this, but you can always find an excuse not to do something, right? But I think the child thing always seems to pop up, and obviously for good reason. But I think I wonder if it's because it's such a big life change, and you would be able to speak to this more than I. But once you go from, right, you already think your life is busy, and you already think like, how could I do extraordinary things? I'm not capable of that. But then add a kid in the mix, and it's like, boom, there's another full-time job, and you don't know how to deal with it. I could see how they go, there's just no way that I didn't even know how to handle my life out, before that, and couldn't see the spare time. Now I definitely don't have any spare time. Any advice for those people who maybe are ready and they're at that stage where they know that they're probably looking for an excuse not to do something? Like what do you tell those people?
I think the thing that I find helps people is actually just to do one small task a day, because I think people are just overwhelmed. They're like, I can't do this because it's going to cost so much money, I think, and it's going to take so much time, I think. They don't actually know. But yeah, again, if you, let's say today I'm dedicating 1 hour to research products or a service that I can sell. Tomorrow I'm dedicating 1 hour to playing around on a Shopify or a Squarespace website. The next day I'm setting up a free social media account. It's like you've just basically set up your business over 3 days, over 3 hours.
Yeah, it's pretty doable, very doable in this world. I think it's probably much the same, like the I don't have time is much the same as I can't afford it. But then both of those people who have never looked at what time do I have and what resources do I have. I think I read that with one of your businesses. I was just trying to see which one it was, but you started with $6,000, right? Like that was it. But instantly you have people like, I don't have $6,000. But, go and do something to make $6,000, or don't let the mind get you stuck at the I don't have $6,000, But you've done this from bugger all just about every time, right? It's not like you've had a huge snowball, because every time you've basically just taken the snowball and gone, right, I'm putting it into the dream home.
What's wrong with me? Why do I do that?
You love it, obviously. Fair
okay,
enough.
Now that I'm 30, I think I'm a little bit more, a little bit better with finances. I've educated myself, so I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm now going to be investing in assets.
I've heard, yeah.
I'm no longer funneling money into this house.
Yeah. It'd be hard not to. Hey, what about the G-Wagon? Did you get a G-Wagon at some stage? I think I read somewhere that was one of the goals too. You'd love to get a G-Wagon.
Oh, I had one when I was 22.
Wow.
That was my first gift to myself. A good job.
And you roll the profits out of the business and pay cash for that, or?
I did buy it in cash, which I probably should have spoken to my accountant of
is
do I do that? I don't know.
Yeah. Man, crazy. So what was it like driving around at 22 in a G-Wagon? Like, are you getting people look at you? Are you getting judged? Are you getting people what's going on?
It was actually really beneficial for work, because I felt like as a 21-year-old, I would go to meetings with people that were 50, 60, about all sorts of things, freight or anything. And they would just look at me and sort of not take me seriously. But then if I come with my G-Wagon, they actually do take me more serious.
Yeah, wow.
I noticed a difference.
That's interesting, eh? It's so crazy that cars have that much status, but that won't surprise a lot of people. But I think it also like holds people back, and that's why they then use that to then have to have a really fancy car so that they, can justify like, okay, hopefully then I'll be taken more seriously. But that's fascinating that you've like seen that firsthand. I suppose at 21 as well, you would have that judgment of like, oh, what are they going to know? Or what are they doing? You rock up in the G-Wagon. How long do you have the G-Wagon for before you go like, nah, I don't need that anymore?
I think like 5 years. It was only when I had kids that I sort of like changed the car, which I still like it. I'd probably get another one.
Yeah, would you? Yeah. How good's the thud of the door, when you shut those? It's like a tank.
I know. And even the exhaust, like every time, I'm not even a car person, but every time it was a V8, and every time you turn it on, it'd be like, roar.
Oh, that's funny. Love it. Yeah. Okay, so with Make It Happen, are you open to saying like what sort of sales you're doing or volumes or dollar values just to blow some people's minds of what's actually possible with online education?
So last year was my first year in it, and it wasn't, let's say last full financial year. Because I only started this about last year, March. I did 640,000 in pretty much just online trainings. But this year, only since 3 months ago, I've started doing one-on-one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, so $640,000 worth of online sales. Yeah, that would hopefully that blows people's minds, but it's probably pretty, probably pretty flippant for you now with how many things you've got and you've done in your life. With the one-on-one stuff, is that higher because they're getting direct access to you?
Yeah. So the one-on-ones is over 12 months, and I meet with people every month. So yeah, it is a higher price point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still trying to figure this business model out. I've never done it before. And yeah, just trying to figure out what I can do with it.
Yeah. And are these people, are they New Zealand based or like a lot of international clients now as well?
Predominantly New Zealand, but I also have Australian. I do one-on-ones with someone in Dubai, Singapore, Michigan. Yesterday, someone from Michigan.
Nice.
Yeah.
Does it get draining, like having all the one-on-ones online and on Zoom and phone calls and sort of the access?
It's definitely harder than the online trainings, and even like e-commerce, like, you have a product and you've got your ads running, you don't really have to do much. So it's definitely more labor intensive. But yeah, I'm like, I feel like I do this because I enjoy educating people and talking about it. I'm like obsessed with talking about it.
Well, you've been on stage all over the country recently as well, right? How many speaking events did you just roll through over the last month?
Oh, last month I did a speaking tour.
Yeah.
Headlined by Dan Carter, which was, I have to do it. Dan Carter's, it's his tour. So I did 3 across Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch. And then last year I did a big one with 4,000 people with David Goggins.
Yeah. And did I see as well that you have built your own event, like Women in Business?
Yeah. Girls in Business.
Girls in Business, sorry.
It's called Girls in Business. I wish I could change the name now because people always like,
why you use the word girls?
Girls.
Do they say that to you?
Yeah, they do.
Why do people get so fucking offended by this stuff, eh? So seriously, get there and learn some shit and carry on.
But I was like, look, we made this name like 6 years ago. I can't really change it.
I wrote something once and I either used the word woman or female, and man, I got pounded by people emailing me like, don't use that. I'm just like, holy shit, man. Like I don't like. I'm a battler. I'm an accountant. I don't know the perfect terminology. But I'm just like, how is this offensive to some people? It's crazy what people find offensive. But anyway, talk us through Girls in Business, because I saw that. I'm like, I want to go to that. Can I come? But I'm like looking at the photos. I'm like, it doesn't look like I can go. So I'm going to identify as a woman and then I can come along.
Yeah.
But how many people you get in that room?
The last year we did 700.
Just casually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we started this like 5-6 years ago, more to bring the community together, talk about business, talk about getting ahead in their people's careers. Started off, our first one was in a cafe with like 100-something people. So it's definitely escalated.
Cafe owner must have been stoked. Like, oh, shit. Oh, we need another chef out the back.
Yeah.
Okay, so like where does the belief and stuff come from to put 700 people in a room? Like it's not an easy thing to do. And I'd imagine that takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of emails out. It takes a lot of ads, promotion. You got to plan the day. There's so much to deal with that people wouldn't know when they just turn up and sit at their seat and go, that was epic on the other side of it. But your brain will be going everywhere. So are you like the main person organising that, or have you got other people helping you with that?
Yeah, so I don't actually do the organization. I generally host it and host it basically. But I've got my team helps me. Or they organize it. But yeah, it's so much coordination. Because we started off the first event so small, we've just built up an email database.
Yeah.
This is our 11th event. So
Wicked. And how much does it cost to go to a girls in business event?
Tickets, the cheaper ones are $170, and then I think the VIPs are $189 or something.
Right.
Roughly.
Look, sort of like some goodie bags. It look like the goodie bags are probably worth more than the ticket price.
They usually are.
Bullshit. Where's the guys' version of this? So if you can just start a blokes one, that'd be great. Man, you've got obviously a lot on your plate. What are you enjoying the most at the moment in your journey? Like obviously in the online coaching and whatnot, it feels like you're still sort of figuring out, okay, how far do you push it? How far do you push yourself? What do you want to be doing? You've got 2 kids as well, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and then you got events with 700 people going and whatnot. So what are you enjoying the most in your speaking? What's really captivating you?
This is going to sound funny. I love making Instagram and TikTok videos.
Yeah?
I actually do it most of the time. Like in between my one-on-ones, that's what I'm doing. I'm dancing at home. I'm doing funny skits.
Yeah.
That's what I find the most enjoyable.
Yeah, interesting. That's but like that flows into everything, right? Because obviously, like if you're building attention and growing audiences and stuff, then it's easier to sell events and all this other stuff that goes alongside it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess it's just fun. I don't know. I just find it fun.
How good's life where you get to do the things that you really enjoy doing?
I know. And when people ask me, what do you do all day? I'm like, I'm just like making little funny videos. That's what I'm doing all day.
All right, let's turn our mind then to somebody who's listening and they go, shit, now I've got a chance to learn and be mentored effectively by somebody who has done over $10 million worth of sales, I'd imagine, across all of these products. And then had multiple exits and coaching people every day, and people are spending thousands. You're making 600,000 of revenue coaching people. If somebody wants to get started from scratch, like what is their first step tomorrow?
Mm-hmm. Well, it would be very helpful if you did my business masterclass, because in the training, it's like if it tells you every single step in order. Yeah. Or if you don't want to, you don't have to. I would just tell you to immediately go on Alibaba, look at the products, see if there's anything that sort of sparks an idea. Then play around on Shopify. If you're going to do a product business, if you've got a service business, I would tell you to play around on Squarespace, because that's also like borderline free.
Yeah. And
then day 3, I would say set up a social media account and start doing researching other creators. So people set up social and they're like, I don't know what to post. Research people. Save folders, get ideas, and then that should give you some ideas on what you can put out there.
So start making some of that similar content.
Yeah, well, I think the first thing is analyzing and studying. Because a huge problem is people they're like, oh, I need to put some stuff out, but they're making really odd things that are just not going to do well. I'm like, before you do that, research.
Okay, so somebody who does want to go down the product route, what tips do you have for finding something that is actually going to work in the market? Because I think Kiwis are pretty good at finding all these reasons why something wouldn't sell, but you've obviously got a great knack for teaching people how to find something that would sell.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people think you need to create this fancy new invention. I'm like, that's actually the worst thing you can do, because if you have something completely new, you have to educate everyone about it. No one knows how it works. So the best thing you can do is actually sell just an ordinary product that sort of solves a problem for people. So let's say I get back pain. Maybe even like if you get back pain and you have a look online at back pain products, there's like a little vest or like ergonomic seating. I recently saw this product called Fridge Friend, and it makes your groceries last a little bit longer in the fridge. I'm like, I've never thought about that. I've seen this ad and I'm like, that would sell really well.
Yeah.
I nearly purchased. And I know a lot of my friends are like, I've seen that ad and I've nearly purchased.
So I guess a lot of people would think, okay, so do you just go around and you just have to copy somebody's idea? Is it as simple as that?
It's not necessarily copying an idea. It's like seeing what problems are out there. What do people care about? Right now, I think it's like wellness. So, infrared's very in, matcha is in.
Yeah.
What are people interested in? What problems do they have? PCOS, skin acne, that's always a common. Weight loss, that's everyone's always trying to lose weight. So yeah, what are the common problems? And what? Yeah.
I find that on your Instagram, like you actually give away a lot of these things too, right? So because you enjoy doing it, you will often do like a breakdown of like, here's 15 things that I've found that would probably work.
Yeah.
To kind of like do people's market research for them.
I know. And even yesterday I had someone that I do one-on-ones with, and they sent me this list of like 6 different ideas they had. And I was like, I reckon 1, 3, 5, and 6, you just pick one of them and make progress on it, because all 4 of those options are going to make money.
Wow.
And she's just having a real trouble actually picking one. And I'm like, just execute. Because it doesn't matter if you go with 1 or 2 or 4. Yeah. You're going to make money off any of them.
And so are you getting a product that's already complete and then matching it with the eventual buyer at a margin, right? So we're getting it out of China or wherever for XYZ and selling it at a margin. Is the mistake people make that they try and like build something from scratch and have it designed and like go, back to what you're saying before of you've got to create this new thing?
Yeah. If you look on platforms like Alibaba, or even let's say you want to get something made locally, you go to a contract manufacturer and they might already have a product that's 90% what you're looking for. So you could add some special feature, but most of it's already there. You don't need to start from scratch.
Okay. So you're basically, and so like, how do you track down? So once you've found a product and you maybe say you have to order 10, like is that now I go and try and sell these 10 and make sure that I can actually sell them? Or is there I'm sure this is covered in the course as such, but is that the approach? Like, let's test the market to see, does the market actually want it?
No, I don't really say test it, because I actually usually say start off thinking how you'd advertise it. So before I talked about how to structure a really good ad. So you want to show some sort of transformation, or even just show the product in use if there's no transformation. So now let's say on my website, I want to make sure those transformations are on there. So when people come on, they can see that. I want to make sure that I have some reviews. So I might send out a lot of product for people to review and test and get feedback. And then, I want to make sure my branding's done well, so that I look like a reputable website. The better your branding looks, the higher the perceived value of your goods are. So people are willing to spend more. So I'm like, don't skimp on your branding.
Yeah.
Make it look good, because people will spend more money with you.
Okay, so we order some product first and then we give it to people to use to then actually collect some data, being feedback plus testimonials, reviews, and then do we go to the market?
Yeah, and then, so now you're building a little bit of that up. That's called social proof.
Yeah.
You're giving people evidence that you're not a scam and that this is the results that you're going to get, other people are going to get. And then you can start funneling people through. So step 1 is your branding. Step 2 is your getting more traffic.
Wicked. Okay. And then in the background, obviously, as you're doing all of this, you can still be building your Shopify, building your brand, and learning about some of the things that are going to be coming in the journey, right?
Well, it's sort of you just doing all the little bits. I don't think there's like you have to do that
This is the
before.
exact process.
It's like you're just building day by day. Today I'm adding this page to the website. Tomorrow I'm tweaking this.
Yeah. Do you want to give us some examples of, say, like 3 of the people who you've worked with, of what the product is that they've sold? And I know you've got a heap of testimonials on your website and stuff like that, and you kind of reveal what they are too, but are there 3 that sort of stand out for you?
Yeah, there is, so one of them, her name's Iyia. I did a podcast with her just to talk about it. And I was like, how did you have the confidence? So she's doing these orthopedic pillows.
Yeah.
Orthopedic pillows. And she ordered 100 for her first order. I was like, how did you have the confidence to do that? She said, Iyia, if you said that if you cannot sell these, I can at least get rid of them for cost price, and then I don't really lose anything. I was like, yes, I did say that.
Yeah, nice.
So that's how she was like, I'm going to order 100. Worst case, get rid of them at cost price. And she kept selling out. She sold 400 units for $120 each, which is $50,000 in 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah, she's New Zealand based.
Yeah.
4 young kids.
Oh.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I have another lady. She's also New Zealand based. The one that always has her baby on our calls. She is selling a kids' play mat, basically.
Yeah.
And she emailed me the week that she launched. She said, I did $14,000 launch week. And she then signed on to my one-on-one program to work with me more, to grow as fast as she could. And then she's 4 months in now, she's done 100 grand.
Sheesh, after 4 months.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think she's younger than me.
Yeah. Wow. Pillows, playmats, and then
also, this is probably, some people might know this brand, Tribe Skincare. She's Australian, so she did my course years ago, like probably 4 years ago when I first came out with it. This was back when I wasn't focusing on this and I was just saying, I can't be bothered repeating myself, so there's the info. So she got it then and she's done over 10 mil now.
10 mil?
Yeah. And she was a skin therapist. Literally no training in business. She wanted to do a skincare brand. So yeah.
I guess caveat here, it's not easy, right? Like you've still got to do the work, right? And that is, like I remember looking into e-commerce years ago because it was sort of popping off. And then I had this realization of like, oh, this isn't really even my thing. And I don't need to scratch this. But I was at that maturity to go, like, I don't need to, even though I could see that I could make money doing this, I'm like, I don't know if I want to put my time and energy into that. I should probably stick to the accounting and the things that I do like doing. And I think, there'll probably be some people listening where they'll go, shit, I could do this, and they probably can, but it's almost like, do you actually want to, and like how long are you going to do it for? And obviously you've had great awareness to go, you know what, I'll sell this. That's fine. It's not your identity. It's not why you're even doing it. And then you get into the teaching side of it as well. But do you see some people, pay for the course or reach out to you and then go, you know what, like I know deep down I'm not even going to take the action. Does that happen?
They don't really say that to me. I assume they just stop working through the course.
Yeah.
But I don't really hear from them. Yeah. But yeah, obviously it is work. But it's also like going to uni. You go and you get the degree, but you have to like put it into action. You're not going to get a job and.
Yeah, because I think like even outside of your space, I've paid for courses over the years, and I've kind of like, okay, that's going to solve this problem for me. And then I've opened it up and I'm like, oh, holy shit. Like there is so much to this, but the key is to not get overwhelmed. It's to be like, okay, I need to methodically like work through these. But I think every time I get one, I'm like, I want to consume it all now. Like I want to do it all in the next 24 hours. I want to like clear my calendar. And I think what happened with COVID for me is that I got way more free time. And part of me was like, wicked, I'm going to work through these courses from successful people where I know that they've done it and I'm learning directly from people with experience. And I could just sit there for like blocks of 3 hours, 4 hours, just punching through shit and then, right, take it, test it in my business, etc. See it working, great, refine it. Oh, what else is possible? And you go on such a fun journey with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a lot of people still don't want to do the work though, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately it's what's your goal? If you don't have like this end goal that you're chasing, for me, it's like, my home, as I've said. But for other people, it might be having enough money to not be stressed or taking their family on holidays. Everyone's got different goals. So if you don't have a goal, you've got nothing to work towards.
Nice. What blowback do you get around like selling a course? Because it's sort of, it's like a real Kiwi way to dismiss that, oh, that's a course, like that's a scam, they're ripping you off or whatever. Obviously, you've got way too much skin in the game and experience to be, like scamming people because you've done it all. It's like, here's what I did. But do you still kind of get that pushback of, am I being ripped off? This is a scam, or she's just selling a course. Do you hear any of that?
I feel like I've only had 2 comments directly at me over the past year, which I'm like, okay, that's not too bad. But I have seen some people post stories about courses in general. And I think they're talking about the ones that are like, buy this course to learn how to sell this course.
Yes.
Yeah, it's more like the pyramid scheme one. But I'm like, I'm selling like actual education.
Yeah.
I'm educating you on how to start a business. You don't have to buy it.
100%. Yeah, it's very different. No, it's interesting. I wondered if with your profile and just sort of your success and whatnot, whether there's sort of that underlying, like, oh, I just need to dismiss her because I need to make myself feel good about myself, or I, don't want to have to do whatever it is that she's suggesting you could do. But good to know that it's only very, very minimal. How many team members have you sort of had to hire through this journey? I'm sure that as things have scaled up, you've needed more than at other times, but what does the team look like at the moment?
I've only got 2 at the moment, which I is more than enough. Yeah. So one of them sort of helps me with the administrative stuff, and she's running the Girls in Business event.
Oh, wicked.
And then the other one does full-time editing for me. So that's how we put out so much content. Yeah. But I think that's enough because about 2, when I had my hair care business, I was also running a marketing agency at the same time.
We forgot to touch on that.
It was like got to a point where I was too stressed.
Yeah.
I had 18 staff, and I was like, I don't like doing the babysitting, like managing staff issues.
Yeah.
Prior having the marketing agency, e-com, you do not need a lot of staff because it's all automated through machines. So I think from that, I'm like, I don't want to ever have a huge team ever again.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
Nice. What do you see repetitively that is the mistake that people make when they try and get into this e-commerce space?
One thing is like they think you find a product and then you just do run ads. It seems to be a lot of people think that that's how it works. There's a lot of things before, like I've touched on them briefly, but like social proof, brand building, making sure your brand, what are the other ones? Influencer marketing. Like, there's so many things to it. Not an overwhelming amount of things, but there are other things that you need to do to be successful.
Yeah, I guess here's my product, you should buy it. There's probably the answer there, right? That's not really, like people hate consuming like that, and then that's probably not a good way to sell something. Basically, like, I've got this, you should care. Like, I'm putting an ad in front of you. People are like, well, I've never heard of this. I don't know you. Can I trust you? Like, leave me alone. So you're probably going to run into some trouble there.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So that's why I'm like, actually just there's like a few steps that you should do before.
Yeah.
You've just jumped to paid ads.
The people that are working through your material, like, are they chasing, are they going for $1 million a turnover or whatnot? Or are a lot of them just like, right, I want to find something to learn these skills so that I can get more in control of my income?
They've all got different reasons. Like one girl, Ella, she messages me here and there. Her goal was to work from home. She's got a little boy, I think like 1 or 2 years old. That was her only goal. So she actually quit her job after a month of doing the training, launching a business. So she's happy. That's her goal. Yeah. Everyone's got different goals.
Wicked. I love that because, you hear quite a bit from society around how, women can be left like vulnerable, partner might leave, they're left with the kids, what are they going to do? Like, you're empowering people how to make money. And whether we like it or not, like, it's a pretty good skill to have. So, I'm not saying that these people are going to separate from their partners or whatnot, but it kind of goes against the narrative that, that like women can't do it, or that they can't be in control of their destiny, or, you've got to be careful if you separate from your husband, you're left with a low Kiwi saver. But this is almost like a beacon of, are most of your customers women?
Yeah, I think a majority are.
Yeah.
I think it's just the content I put out is more women resonate with me.
Yeah, interesting. Or I wonder if like they'd be more methodical and smarter about this too. Like, I noticed dudes are real like, oh, I'm just going to do this. And you're like, I wouldn't do that, man. It's probably not going to work. No, fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway. And they take heaps of risk and then go like, oh shit, yeah, no, that didn't work. Or blow it up and then go back to a trade or something like that. But fascinating. Hey, a few quickfire ones. Biggest business myth that you believed?
Business myth. Well, I used to work very, very long hours. And I thought like, oh, if I just work harder, I will do better. But actually, it's about putting in systems. And that's why I have like the online trainings now, because it's scalable. So what's the smartest thing I can do to maximize my sales and reduce the amount of hours I'm working?
Yeah, it's smart as well, because I think, if somebody hasn't built an audience, what they don't understand about somebody who does have an audience is actually can be quite overwhelming to jump in and be like, oh, I've got 12 messages, and there's like genuine questions in there. And if you're trying to respond to people individually, deep down it's not efficient, and like you'll never get those minutes of your life back. And yet, like, a lot of people are appreciative, but I think a lot of people who haven't built an audience kind of go, oh, I'll just send this message, but don't realize there's a sacrifice by the person on the other end of that, of what they now can't do with that time. And so then you find smart ways like processes or automation or a course, or listen to this podcast instead of me having to, answer this question. And, like how powerful it is to do that, because more people can learn rather than singly. But then people will look and be like, oh, like now I have to listen to a 30-minute podcast. And you're like, yes, or pay or work through the course.
Yeah, totally. Well, it's just not possible. Like we're all limited by time, everyone. It's a limited resource for all of us. So how can we get more efficient with it?
Yeah. The first hire someone should make if their e-commerce brand does start scaling up and getting pretty crazy and they're listening to this going, shit, like I can't handle this anymore. I can't do it all on my own. Who's normally the first hire?
Oh, okay. So my first hire would have been like 21. And I'm pretty sure I just put it on my Instagram story, like, anyone free tomorrow?
Love it. Yeah.
But actually, I've actually done a lot of hiring just through referrals. You know, like maybe I need someone for social media. I might ask someone, a uni student, be like, do you know anyone that's can do some on the side? Even interns. I've had interns come and trial it, and then they've been good, and I've ended up hiring them.
The old hire from your social media is such an underrated hack, because it's that natural filter of, okay, they know about you, etc. And compared to, I've got a job advert out there at the moment, and I was blown away at the piss poor preparation people put into applying for a role. Obviously, it's important to me. It's probably just another role to them. But there's something different about posting on social media and saying, hey, do you want to look at doing this role, with the type of people that come through?
Totally, yeah. And I feel like everybody that I've had on my team that I sort of had a prior relationship to, well, they weren't a complete stranger. They've actually worked harder and been more loyal, potentially. Not every case, but I have found that referrals, they're often better.
Best free tool that you used throughout your career where you've gone like, holy shit, I can't believe this is free?
Pretty much all the tools I use are free.
Yeah?
Or borderline free. Like right now, ChatGPT, I use CapCut for editing, Canva, Shopify, all of them are like $20-something a month.
The crazy, I love how you've backed yourself to get a full-time editor. It's something that I sometimes think about. I'm like, man, I wonder if I should have somebody just following me around, like making more content for me. But then I'm like, okay, it would just, like everything would just continue to blow up. And eventually at the end of it, it's like, I've only got so much capacity to do things. And because I'm not selling something that's like ultra scalable, I normally come back to, that's probably not a good use of resource right now. But cool to see that you back yourself to have a full-time editor. Shows the importance of content, right?
Well, over the years, I've just learned the importance of delegation. I would not even start another business now, without having at least one person to help me with administrative stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, because there's a lot of bitsy things to do.
Yeah. Like, what time you need to be at a podcast and and get the calendar invite, where we're going to park.
Yeah.
What's a mindset habit people overlook that you think is important, both with e-com, but, in business in general?
Mindset. Yeah, I think it is just like doubting yourself without giving things a go, probably. I actually put up a post on my social this morning, and it was, I lost 13 kilos this year.
Right on.
Yeah, in 3-ish months.
In 3 months?
Yeah, 3. Well,
effort,
it's because I'm getting married next week, so I need to shred.
Nice.
Yes. But I was like, okay, how did this happen? I actually put into my calendar every day for 30 days. In January, like, I'm just going to go to the gym for 30 days and see what happens.
Yeah.
It's like, hopefully I lose some weight. And then it got me in a good habit. There were days that I missed, but then I did another 30 days. Then I did another 30 days. And just putting it in and hoping for the best, like doing it every day got me an outcome.
Nice. Yeah, I actually saw that post. I thought it was really good because, I think it's encouraging, to share things like that to other people who they probably know deep down they need to be doing something, but it's very easy, again, to find excuses or reasons not to do it, right? But you've obviously had a clear reason with the wedding, and then you go, right, well, I'm just going to do something. You've got a lot of data from the past of habit and doing stuff consistently that it works, and so you basically apply the same formula. Then you need a calendar reminder, and then you're either like, well, I'm either doing it or I'm not. But I like how you made it a priority and you sort of like slotted it into your calendar, because it'd be very easy for you to be like, well, I need to do that one-on-one call with that person now, so I'm not going to be able to do the exercise today, or kids are sick or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. I think it was more it was like I was so angry in January 2nd when I was like, why can't I fit anything? I went shopping, couldn't fit anything in the stores I usually buy stuff in. And I was angry with myself. So I was like, so I need to do something about it. Yeah. So I think if you've got like that desire to, you're having a moment and you're like, I have to do this. I really want to do this.
Yeah.
But without it, there's no drive.
Well, on that, so let's say somebody's making 60 to 80 grand a year and they're following you and they're looking at, okay, the brilliant house, kids, looks like life's like sorted, but then you are saying like, hey, I'm on a weight loss journey and whatnot. I feel like you're very real with your audience. But like nice stuff and whatnot. What advice do you have for them if they want to level up their lifestyle and they've got to decide like what it is that they want to purchase? And what advice do you have for them of like how to go about actually doing that as somebody who's done it?
Number one, definitely just having that end goal. Like, what am I actually what is my dream life, or like what am I actually trying to achieve? Because for me, I always had these like visualizations of a house. So that was always my goal. But everyone has different goals. So once you've figured it out, and you have to have one, if you don't have one, you're not going to do anything. Then you're just like taking action towards it. So it could be anything. It could be being more cautious with your spending and then putting money into shares. Or it could be like looking into buying investment property, or it could be starting a business. There's so many different avenues. There's no like right or wrong, but it is like I want to do something. Like I need to do something.
Nice. You want more, something more. On that, when you started putting the course material together, did you end up putting in stuff around like visualization and manifestation and things like that have been important to you?
That is in the introduction, because I honestly think that's the most important.
Yeah.
I
I thought that would be the answer, but I was thinking, I wonder, because you say you go to put a course together of like, okay, what you've done. I bet once you stop to think about it, you're like, oh shit, that's really important. Oh shit, that bit as well. Oh shit, I need to record. Like, oh, I need to put that bit in as well. And these are all those little things that, like when you've been in the game and around similar people, I'm like, okay, completely get it. Visualization. I know why that's so important, and even something to draw you towards it and what's really meaningful about that. For a lot of people, like they've never come across that yet. They've never learnt about that. They still think like, oh, that's just some woo-woo shit or whatever. But yeah, to then see, somebody like yourself where you're then like, okay, here's my course of how to do it, but you need to start with visualization. For some of them, they must be like, oh, hang on, what's the go here?
Yeah, well, I'm like, it's like daydreaming about the life that you want. That's pretty much it. Yeah. And also like if I bring it back to the weight loss thing, like if I did not have that realization on January 2nd of like, oh, I'm really feeling very down about my weight and I really need to make a change. If I did not go shopping that day, I would not have lost 13 kilos in 3 months. So it is making sure that you have a goal.
Yeah. Have you ever struggled with like anxiety, depression, those sorts of things, or have you just been too busy going after shit that, it's not really been an issue for you?
I think not so much anxiety, but definitely like depression at points.
Yeah.
There was a point even between when I sold my business and my gift box business, I was working so much back then and I was neglecting all my relationships and friends.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I just got addicted to like building. And then actually one day I was like, someone said, oh, you're so successful. I went home and I was like, I don't feel successful. I literally have no one to share any of this with. And so after that, I was like, you know what's actually the most important is relationships.
Nice. Wow, that's good. It's what age is that? Like mid-20s, right? 24,
I think.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. At this stage, you're probably driving along in the G-Wagon thinking about it. But it's amazing like how often when I speak to successful people that have done a lot, and everybody has their own definition of success, but we've got to like go on this journey to sort of go like, where have we thought we'd get happiness from, success, fulfillment and whatnot, and then figure it out for ourselves. Scary journey to go on for a lot of people, right?
Well, totally. I mean, you have this like end goal, but you're not going to be happy when you get there. It's the journey. Yeah. Every time you do like get a new milestone or you achieve something, that's the fun part. It's not like just getting the money.
Yeah, I love keeping an eye on your students and what they're doing, and not so much like what's the figure that they've sold. I just think, oh, wow, this is epic. They've got themselves to a point where they've validated something. They've taught themselves they can make money. They've learned a shit ton. And they're at the point where they're like, hey, they want to tell you about it again and be like, hey, look what I've done. I think it's so cool to see.
I did not ask any of them for testimonials. They've all messaged me because they're excited. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, I've made this much money. Like, good for you.
Yeah. Awesome. This is what it was designed to teach you.
Yeah. I didn't ask any of them
Yeah.
to send me those things.
And like your journey, money is just the outcome. You know, it's the output of all the work that you do. And, you know, you've rolled the dice with $300,000 influencer deals and multiple influencer deals, even just sending out product, you know, asking for feedback for free is effectively a risk. But, you know, you learn through that and then you get to take it into the next thing. And I think that's what a lot of people who don't start, like, never get to experience, because even if it didn't go the way that you thought it was going to go, the next time you try something, you're like, oh, I've seen that before. I get to ignore that, save myself 6 months. And that's success, you know, and that is winning along the way. And that's the important bit of enjoying the journey, not just sort of, the monetary amounts of turnover per month, etc.
Mm-hmm. You're so right. It's like you learn from everything.
Yeah.
And you learn what to do and not to do.
Yeah. And no one can take it back from you.
Yeah.
Yeah. If people want to find you, how do they do that?
My actual name is very hard to spell. So my business handle is Make It Happen. Make It Happen. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I'm everywhere now.
Yeah.
I'm everywhere now.
I actually saw, I think you did a really good video on YouTube, like breaking down how to make your first maybe 10,000 or so. Is it one of the first videos you released?
I think it was the first video I released. I'm trying to get better at YouTube, which my goal is actually to focus a lot more on YouTube.
Yeah. I wonder if you could get your editor and ask the people, some of them that you're mentoring, like, hey, do you mind if I record this and then upload it as a piece of content? And then you could record like a 1 minute, hey, in this, you know, I'm working with somebody. And I reckon those would be epic pieces of content and testimonials. Well, not testimonials, but like learning pieces.
Totally, yeah. Very good idea. Very good.
I guess you might have some sensitive stuff in there. Anyway, make it happen if people want to find you. What's next for you?
I am really enjoying what I'm doing. I've done my 10 years of all sorts of businesses, product, service, events. It sounds silly, but I'm like, this is my purpose. Like, this is actually what just makes me happy.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, good on you. It's awesome to see someone doing so well and then giving so much of the knowledge back and empowering other people to go on their journey as well. So keep it up and good luck for the wedding. Have a great time.
Thank you.